What's up, everybody? I'm Cheyne.
This is Matthew Thorsen.
And we just want to say a big thank you to yadamedia.net. Baltimore has a great biking community, and some of those kids have come together, and every Wednesday night they do a group ride called Baltimore Six Pack. So what you do is you buy a six-pack of beer, you buy whatever you want. You just buy alcohol, or you bring other things, whatever. You bring controlled substances and you put them in a backpack, and 20, 30 of us will meet up at a bike shop in Baltimore, and we'll pick a spot like a park or a pier or something like that. And we'll ride to it. We'll like kind of race to it. We'll drink a beer or two, and then we will pick another location and head on to it. Generally, we start around 10. We generally finish at like 1 or 2. And this time of year, it's interesting because it gets pretty cold. But I missed 2 on this tour, and I miss those guys. So I'm stoked to get home and do another one. But that's the Baltimore Six Pack.
I never meant to disrespect, never meant to make you flex. So you better hit the deck. Now I got you wishing that we never met. Everybody.
As far as punk rap, the terminology, that really came from a more of an idea of like our mental standpoint about what we do musically, lifestyle. When you get to a point, you realize that punk rock and hip hop don't really have that much of a difference as far as its foundation and where it comes from. Sonically, sure, but if you really listen to lyrical content, it's about social unrest and about not becoming complacent, about your place in this world, and about making sure that you're unique and you care about being original in what it is that you do, and to never be satisfied with what someone tells you is your limitation. And I think that that's a really great message to have, and punk rock carries it and hip hop carries it. I like the aesthetic of seeing those 2 words together. To me, it's very pleasing, and it sends a pretty profound message. It really started to take shape after we started playing shows and feeling how it was going to feel live, and knowing that going into the recording or writing process.
I make all the beats. I'll do all the production right now, and I'd been in rock bands for years, so I'd been playing drums for a long time, and I always wanted to make my own music without the need of 4 or 5 other dudes. So I play a little bit of a guitar, I play a little bit of piano, so I make all the beats at home, and it's been a road. It's been a lot of experimenting. You know, before this project, honestly, I didn't listen to a lot of hip hop, so at the time I was a little more into electronic stuff when we first started, and those were the beats and where they kind of came from. And as Cheyne went along saying, hey, I like this, I like this, I like this, you know, try to write something like this, or you know, a beat that sounds more like this, so I go for it. I still love electronic music. deadmau5 is one of my favorites that's out there right now. I kind of just always write what I want to hear, and I always try to write what I think is best for the song. Honestly, like a lot of times, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'll get behind my computer and I'll start playing, and something comes out, and that's what's awesome about it. I'm never really trying to do any one thing in particular. I could sometimes go in and say, hey, I'm gonna make a beat like this today, and I'll start making it, and it's not at all what I wanted to make, but it could be awesome. It could be better.
This is for the kids, this is for the first kiss, this is for the skateboards and the broken wrists.
Awesome. I can't say a single bad thing about that tour. It was well put together. The fans are amazing. And in a world where we lose fan bases of really solid, hard-working acts to the internet and free downloading, which we support, but you could watch a million YouTube videos of people playing live sets and critique and do what you will from behind your computer screen, but it's rare anymore that you'll see a fan base of an act that's been around for 10 or 15 years show up at 1 or 2 o'clock and have a line 400 or 500 deep wrapped around the block that are there for that act and ferociously excited. And we did wonderfully with their fans, and they were super supportive and very excited about what we were doing. And not only that, but Twisted themselves were amazing to us and super accommodating and very nice, and their whole staff is extremely nice. Just some of the coolest, most hardworking guys you'd ever meet. Just fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you'd like to add about Twisted?
I love Chief.
Yeah, Chief and Chud and George, that whole crew is awesome. Aside from Twisted themselves, their entire crew. Big Happy, Big Vin, Dustin. Yeah, their whole crew is awesome.
Feeling like the shit. Remember riding on that public transit, but now the 7.
Run the Jewels, LP, and Killer Mike is maybe one of the best hip-hop records in a decade. Yellow Wolf's Trunk Music, the newest Trunk Music edition, and George Watsky's Cardboard Castles.
Run the Jewels. I don't need 3. That's definitely the one that yeah, for me. Like I said, I'm still diving more and more into the hip-hop world. Kanye's Yeezus record, there's like some really interesting things going on in that record. It's just so strange. For me, as like from a production standpoint, like he is hands down my favorite in hip-hop, just because his beats are so like alive and like powerful, and like a lot of the stuff that he did on this record, like my initial reaction is like, oh, it sounds a little pretentious, he's just trying to be different. But then you listen to it again and again and again, and the record just sort of grows on you. It's really strange, but it's awesome.
I'd like to add the R.A. the Rugged Man's Legends Never Die album to my favorite albums of 2013. In my opinion, he's the greatest rapper alive now. Also, Caskey's Transient Classics.
Now it's cold out, and I'm writing you for peace of mind, because everybody's saying
I was rapping for a couple of years, and he hit me up about rapping on a project that he was working on with a guy that he was in a band with at the time, and he came over to my house to record some stuff, and we just talked about maybe, I was like, you know what, you should do a show with me sometime, I think it could be fun. He was like, all right. I was like, well, I have the show coming up in my hometown, I'm from Ocean City, Maryland, and it'd be cool if you came and did it with me. He was like, all right. So we came and drummed my set, and it just clicked like right away. Like, yeah, we had one rehearsal. Yeah, we had one rehearsal, and we did the show, and it was just so, we fell into a pocket really easily, and yeah, like our live dynamic is palpable, and it was easy to see that right away. So we were just stoked, and we were like, let's keep doing this. A couple weeks later, we had our second show. It was like sold out at Baltimore Soundstage with with Logic. Shout out Logic from Maryland, awesome rapper from Maryland. That was our second show, and it was even better. And we just kept playing as many shows as we could. And then
the first show was last August.
Yeah, so it's been just a little over a year since we've been playing together.
it's too much, I bet it's no fun. Remember to watch your step. You want my life, you come out and get it.
Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day is my idol. I had this toy guitar that my mom bought me. She eventually got me a real one, but when I was very young and had no concept of like a guitar, I had this toy guitar with buttons on it, and I would listen to Green Day's Kerplunk and Dookie, and I was given Kerplunk by a cousin before Dookie ever came out, and I just listened to it over and over, and I would stand in front of my mirror and lip sync the songs while playing my toy guitar, and ever since then I've always just wanted to play music. Green Day's Billy Joe Armstrong, like just his energy, and he influences me still as a performer and as a songwriter. Yeah, I mean, there's not really many people you could say that in our generation have cultivated such a place in history, and he certainly has, and you could see why when you see them live, you know?
I was like 11 or 12, and then going into high school, I had a friend from Boy Scouts that was in the drum line, and he was like, Matt, we need more people in the drum line. You should come play in the drum line. And I was like, okay, cool. I've always kind of been into like rhythm, and I used to be one of those kids that would bang on the tables at lunch, you know. So he got me into doing it that way, and it just, I don't know, out of all the things I've ever done in my life, it sort of just stuck. So I did marching band, I did symphonic band, I did jazz band, and then I started playing with bands, actual like bands in high school and stuff. And I'd say two huge ones. One is just closer to home. My band director, Marvin Van Dyke, he just drove home the idea of hard work and perfection, which I still have today, which occasionally drives the people around me completely insane. And then Dave Grohl is like my dude. The Foo Fighters are my favorite band of all time. And Dave Grohl, as a drummer and coming out of Nirvana and starting up his own thing and writing his own music and doing everything that he does, he's the idol of all idols for me, hands down.
Don't wish your life away. Take each day one day at a time. You know, don't rush to get to things you're waiting for. Take each day and make the absolute best out of it. That's a good one. My mom used to tell me that. What about you?
Nobody ever told me this, but just don't get mad at the things you can't control. And that's a hard thing to do sometimes. I've just come to learn that, like, hey, you know, if I can't control it, then I just, you know, go on and have the best time that I can. As far as the music industry is concerned, there is nothing anybody can ever tell you. You have to just do it yourself. You have to just find out for yourself, because the oldest, smartest guy who has been on tour his entire life could tell you something, and you're not going to listen to him. When you're 17, 18 years old or whatever, you're not going to listen to him. You just have to be put through the ringer.
I think that it comes from wanting to really take the voice and make it an instrument. You know, there's only so many ways you can say anything, you know, so I think it's really important to utilize and utilize what it is that you listen to as an influence and what you know, and to really push yourself to kind of expect more of yourself, but also to do things you didn't know that you were capable of doing. So when I first started getting into it, actually it's funny, Taylor Larson, who's a record producer in Maryland, he's done records for a lot of big bands like Periphery, just did the new Darkest Hour, Friends of Ours, Life on Repeat. Him and I, he did my first EP as a rapper, and he really pushed me. He's like, man, you gotta do that fast shit that I keep hearing on the radio, yada yada. And I was like, I just don't know if that's really me. And I ended up writing a few songs that kind of utilize that idea of like a faster, like choppier flow. I really wanted to have kind of a toolkit like that I could kind of reach into and say, okay, this production I want to do something a little bit more like this or a little bit more like this. But I think that with topic matter and what we write about and being a little bit more aggressive, I think the choppier rhythms kind of come out of not necessity, but an urgency from the music for it to be a little bit more rapid fire. We're just gonna keep grinding. We're writing every day. Do as many shows as we can. Get to some spots we haven't played yet. We definitely want to make it to the West Coast this year. You know, Texas, further into the Midwest. You know, this year we've really hit the Northeast hard. We just played our first show in Florida with Caskey, who's from Orlando, and it was awesome. We've hit the Carolinas and Maryland, Virginia, you know, up in upstate New York, and even all the way up to Vermont this year, and in Wisconsin and stuff. So now we've definitely like to hit the West Coast in 2014 and put out some new music. We've already got some stuff recorded that we're kind of, you know, putting a plan together to put out now, and you know, just keep pushing the music as much as we can. The Grace Period's been really well received. We're super excited about it, and we can't wait to have people see what we're doing now, and we're, you know, really proud of our growth, and you know, we're just gonna keep working tightly with our team and see what we can come up with for the new year. We're excited.